Admiral Red stood at the command bridge of his massive flagship, staring at the holographic display of a blue planet called Earth. His scaled fingers tapped impatiently on the metallic railing as he watched the primitive civilization going about their daily lives, completely unaware of his presence beyond their solar system. Another easy conquest for the Empire, he said to himself, his dual hearts beating with anticipation of an easy victory. The Empire had conquered over 300 star systems, and this would be just another trophy in their vast collection. My lord, his second-in-command Captain Stone approached with a datapad. Our scans show they haven't even colonized their own moon properly. They only have a few small stations there. Red's mouth twisted into what his species considered a smile. Prepare the first wave. Standard conquest protocol. No need to waste our premium weapons on such a backward world. As the Empire's 7th Fleet moved into position, hidden sensors across the solar system sparked to life. Deep within a mountain complex on Earth, General Walker watched the alien fleet's movement on a quantum-linked display. They took the bait, Walker said to the room full of military commanders. All our surface technology reads as pre-space age, just as planned. Position our stealth platforms. Across the solar system, invisible satellites shifted their positions. These platforms, completely undetectable by conventional scanners, had been humanity's first line of defense since they detected the Empire's scout ships 3 years ago. Back on the Empire's flagship, Red gave the order to launch the first wave. Send in the diplomatic vessels first, followed by our standard occupation force. Show them the might of the Empire. 20 sleek ships broke formation and headed toward Earth. Their mission was simple: demonstrate the Empire's power, demand surrender, and begin the occupation. It was a strategy that had worked hundreds of times before. The ships entered the solar system confidently, their sensors detecting nothing but primitive satellites and space debris. As they passed Mars, Captain Stone noticed something odd on his readings. Admiral, I'm detecting some unusual energy fluctuations, Stone reported, adjusting his instruments. But they're too scattered to be weapons. Red dismissed the concern with a wave of his hand. Probably they're primitive communication systems. Proceed as planned. The first ship disappeared without a warning. Then another, and another. On Earth, Walker watched as humanity's quantum displacement weapons did their work. The alien ships weren't destroyed. They were simply shifted slightly out of phase with regular spacetime, effectively removing them from this dimension. Sir, a young lieutenant reported, all targets have been neutralized. 0 civilian casualties. 0 debris. 0 radiation signature. Walker nodded, satisfied. Send the message to all command centers. Operation Ghost Wall is a success. Prepare for Phase 2. Back in the Empire's fleet, chaos erupted on the command bridge. Red watched in horror as his entire first wave vanished without a trace. No explosions, no debris, no distress signals. They simply ceased to exist. Impossible, he roared, his professional demeanor cracking. Launch a full scan of the system. Whatever weapon they have, find it. But the scans showed nothing. As far as their instruments could tell, there were no advanced weapons in the solar system. Just a primitive civilization that hadn't even achieved proper spaceflight. My lord, Stone's voice shook slightly. We're receiving a transmission from Earth. The holographic display crackled to life, showing General Walker sitting calmly at his desk. The human wore a simple military uniform with no decorations or marks of rank. Another calculated move to confuse the Empire's intelligence. This is Earth's defense command to the alien fleet. Walker's voice was steady and confident. Your advance force has been contained. They are unharmed but removed from this dimension. We can return them, or not. The choice depends on your next move. Red stared at the transmission in disbelief. This was impossible. A pre-space flight civilization couldn't have this kind of technology. It violated everything the Empire knew about technological progression. As the magnitude of his mistake dawned on him, Red realized something that would soon become common knowledge throughout the galaxy. Humans were not what they appeared to be, and this war would be like nothing the Empire had ever fought before. The first strike had failed, and humanity had just revealed the smallest fraction of their true capabilities. The Empire's intelligence director White paced nervously in the central data chamber. Holographic screens surrounded him, displaying everything known about Earth. After the loss of their first attack wave, the Empire had finally decided to take this primitive planet seriously. "Show me the historical data again," he ordered the AI assistant. The screens flickered, displaying Earth's visible technological progress over the last century. "Something isn't right," White muttered, his four eyes narrowing. "No species develops this randomly. There's no clear pattern to their advancement." On his main screen, images flashed by old chemical rockets next to quantum computers, simple combustion engines alongside advanced AI systems, and primitive chemical weapons beside electromagnetic pulse devices. The humans hadn't followed any of the standard technological development paths that every other known species had taken. Meanwhile, on Earth's Luna base, Commander Wilson stood in the hidden command center deep beneath the lunar surface. What the Empire saw as a small research station was actually the control hub for humanity's orbital defense network. "Status report," Wilson ordered, watching the Empire's fleet through quantum imaging displays. "Their scout ships are probing our outer defense grid, sir," Lieutenant Reed reported. "They still can't detect our stealth systems, but they're being more careful now." Wilson smiled. "Show them why that won't help. Activate the AI defense networks." Across Earth's solar system, thousands of dormant defense satellites awakened. Each one contained a human-level AI, working in perfect harmony with its human operators. Unlike the Empire, which feared AI rebellion, humans had solved the alignment problem decades ago. Back on the Empire's command ship, Admiral Red received urgent reports from his scout vessels. "My lord," Captain Stone's voice was tense, "we've detected something impossible. The humans, they're using true AI in their defense systems." Red's scales paled. "That's not possible. Every species that developed AI either destroyed themselves or banned it completely. These primitives couldn't have." His words were cut short by alarms blaring across the ship. On the main display, a single human vessel appeared out of nowhere, right in the middle of their defense screen. The human ship was small, barely a quarter the size of the Empire's smallest cruiser, but it moved like nothing they had ever seen, its actions too quick and precise to be controlled by organic pilots. "Battle stations," Red ordered, but it was too late. The human vessel, commanded by Wilson himself, but aided by an AI tactical system, danced between the Empire's ships. Its weapons fired with impossible accuracy, targeting microscopic weak points in the Empire's shields that only a quantum computer could identify. Within minutes, 3 Empire ships were disabled, their systems scrambled by targeted electromagnetic pulses that somehow pierced their advanced shielding. In the Empire's central command, Director White watched the battle footage with growing horror. "They've merged their consciousness with their AI systems," he realized. "The ships aren't just AI-controlled. They're human-AI hybrids." The human vessel disappeared as quickly as it had appeared, leaving behind confused and frightened Empire crews. The message was clear. Humanity could strike anywhere, at any time, with perfect precision. Wilson stood in his command center, receiving data from the successful raid. "Send the analysis to all Earth defense stations," he ordered. "The Empire's shield frequency varies by ship class. Our AI can predict the patterns now." The lieutenant nodded, then added, "Sir, we're detecting increased quantum communications from the Empire's fleet. They're calling for reinforcements." Wilson's expression remained calm. "Good. Let them bring more ships. Each one provides more data for our defense systems to analyze." In the Empire's intelligence center, Director White prepared his report for the High Command. His hand shook as he wrote the conclusion. "Humans have achieved what we thought impossible: true human-AI integration. Their technological development appears chaotic, because they advance in all directions simultaneously, using AI to solve problems we haven't even recognized yet. Standard conquest protocols will fail. The Empire faces an enemy that thinks faster, adapts quicker, and fights smarter than any species we have encountered. As the report went out, humanity's defense AI systems were already calculating the Empire's next move, preparing countermeasures for attacks that hadn't even been planned yet. The war was just beginning, and the Empire was finally starting to understand what they were really fighting against. The Empire's spy master Black crouched in the shadows of an abandoned Earth warehouse. After weeks of careful planning, his team had finally infiltrated what they thought was a human weapons facility. What they found instead made their blood run cold. "This isn't a warehouse," Black whispered into his quantum communicator. "It's a dimensional gateway." Before them stood a massive ring-shaped device, humming with energy they couldn't understand. Through its center, they could see glimpses of other realities, flickering like damaged holograms. Suddenly, alarms blared. Not in their reality, but in another dimension entirely. "We've been detected," one of Black's agents reported. "But not here. They're seeing us through a different dimension." On the other side of the planet, General Walker sat in Earth's primary defense hub, watching the Empire's spies through quantum viewers. "They finally found one of our gates," he said to his staff. "Time to show them what dimensional warfare really means." He pressed a simple button on his command console. "Initiate protocol mirror." The Empire's spies watched in horror as soldiers stepped through solid walls around them. Humans wearing combat suits that let them exist in multiple dimensions at once. They weren't walking through the walls. They were walking around them through other dimensions. "Impossible," Black gasped, activating his emergency teleporter. But it didn't work. The humans had somehow blocked access to the quantum teleportation dimension as well. Within moments, Black and his team were captured by soldiers they couldn't fight. How do you battle an enemy that can attack you from a dimension you can't even see? In orbit, Admiral Red received the report of his spy team's capture with growing dread. They're not just fighting in 3 dimensions, he realized. They're fighting in all of them at once. His worst fears were confirmed when human ships suddenly appeared inside his fleet's formation. Not from normal space, but stepping through dimensional gates that opened and closed faster than the Empire's sensors could track. "All ships, activate phase shields," Red ordered desperately. The Empire's best defense technology sprang to life around their ships, designed to protect against any known weapon. Commander Wilson watched from his command ship as the Empire deployed their shields. "Just as we expected," he said to his AI partner. "Show them why phase shields don't work against quantum weapons." The human ships fired. Their weapons didn't try to penetrate the Empire's shields. They simply shifted the shields themselves into another dimension, leaving the ships completely exposed. In the Empire's high command, Director White received the battle footage with trembling hands. "Their weapons, they're not destroying our shields. They're removing them from our reality entirely." But junior analysts spoke up. "Sir, we've detected something else. The humans aren't just controlling their ships. They're downloading their consciousness into them. If a ship is destroyed, the crew simply transfers to another vessel or back to their bodies on Earth." White stared at the data in disbelief. Humanity had not only mastered dimensional warfare, but had found a way to separate consciousness from physical form. Death itself meant nothing to them. Back on Earth, General Walker prepared to demonstrate humanity's final card. "Begin the quantum field expansion," he ordered. Across the solar system, hidden quantum generators activated. Space itself began to change as humanity exerted control over the fundamental forces of reality. In the Empire's fleet, ships suddenly found their faster-than-light drives wouldn't activate. The humans had changed the quantum properties of space around their solar system, making FTL travel impossible. "They can control the fabric of space itself," Admiral Red reported to High Command, his voice shaking. "We're not just fighting their weapons, we're fighting their mastery over reality itself." The Empire's remaining spy drones captured images of more human ships emerging from hidden bases on Earth, each one carrying weapons that could attack through multiple dimensions simultaneously. As the human fleet approached, Admiral Red made a decision that no Empire commander had made in 10,000 years. "All ships, retreat by sublight engines," he ordered. "We cannot win this. Not here. Not against them." The Empire had finally seen humanity's true arsenal, and for the first time in their history, they felt real fear. They weren't fighting a primitive species. They were fighting beings who had mastered dimensions they didn't even know existed. Admiral Red stared at the wreckage of his once mighty fleet. In just 3 days of battle, humans had destroyed over 40% of his ships. Not through brute force, but with tactics that seemed to defy the laws of physics themselves. "My lord," Captain Stone reported, his voice hollow, "they're using some kind of swarm technology now." On the main view screen, thousands of small, autonomous craft surrounded the Empire's remaining ships. Each one was barely larger than a personal transport, but they moved with perfect coordination, like a school of fish that could think as one. "How many pilots are controlling them?" Red asked, dreading the answer. "None, sir. Each drone has its own AI, but they're all connected to a central human consciousness. They're being commanded by a single human mind linked to thousands of AI systems simultaneously." In Earth's Lunar Command Center, Commander Wilson sat in his neural interface chair, his consciousness spread across the drone swarm. Through thousands of sensors, he could see every Empire ship from every angle. Through thousands of AI processors, he could calculate every possible move they might make. "Target their command and control systems." Wilson's thoughts echoed through the swarm. "Disable, don't destroy. We want prisoners." The drones moved like a fluid, flowing around Empire energy weapons and through their defensive screens. Their attacks weren't random. Each strike was calculated to gradually weaken the enemy's defenses in a precise pattern. On his flagship, Red watched in horror as his combat AI tried to predict the swarm's movements. The computer crashed, overwhelmed by the complexity of human battle strategies that changed faster than it could analyze them. "Sir," Stone shouted, "they're inside our network. Somehow they've bypassed our quantum encryption." In a hidden facility on Mars, Lieutenant Reed led the cyber warfare team that had cracked the Empire's communications. "Their encryption is based on pure math," she explained to her AI partners. "Ours is based on understanding how their computers think. Show them what we can do." Empire ships began shutting down as human cyber attacks rewrote their operating systems. Weapons turned themselves off. Life support systems reset. Navigation computers displayed Earth messages instead of star charts. Back in the Empire's capital, the High Command watched their military doctrine crumble in real time. "How?" one general demanded. "How can they be so far ahead of us?" Director White, now the Empire's leading expert on human warfare, answered quietly. "Because they never stopped preparing for war. Even at peace, they imagine new ways to fight. Their entertainment, their games, their stories, all of them are about conflict and warfare. They don't just practice war. They dream it." In orbit around Jupiter, another Empire fleet appeared, fresh reinforcements arriving from the core worlds. Their admiral was the legendary Commander Green, undefeated in 30 years of warfare. "These humans are clever," Green transmitted to his fleet, "but they haven't faced our full might yet. Prepare the planet killer weapons." The message was intercepted instantly by Earth's quantum listeners. General Walker smiled as he read it. "Right on schedule," he said to his staff. "Begin Operation Checkmate." Before Green could issue another order, human ships appeared throughout his formation. Not dozens or hundreds, but thousands. They had been waiting in other dimensions, watching through quantum sensors, ready for this moment. "Sir," Green's sensor officer reported in panic, "we're detecting human ships inside our vessels. They're materializing in our corridors." Boarding parties of humans in dimension-shifting combat suits stepped out of thin air inside Empire ships. Their neural-linked weapons could fire in multiple realities at once, making defense impossible. In less than an hour, the Empire lost more ships than in the previous century of warfare combined. Their most advanced weapons were useless. Their best tactics were predicted and countered before they could be implemented. Their strongest shields might as well have been paper. As the last Empire ship in the Jupiter fleet surrendered, Commander Wilson transmitted a simple message to their capital. "This was just our first wave. Do you really want to see our second?" For the first time in its history, the Galactic Empire faced not just defeat, but extinction. And the humans hadn't even shown all their cards yet. The Empire's Grand Admiral Blue stood before the combined fleet of over 10,000 warships. After losing 2 fleets to the humans, the Empire had finally committed its full military might to this war. "Today we use the planet killers," Blue announced to his commanders. "We will show these humans that the Empire cannot be defeated by tricks and technology." The planet killers were the Empire's ultimate weapons, massive ships that could tear planets apart at their atomic level. In 10,000 years, they had only been used 3 times. Each time, the target civilization had surrendered immediately. On Earth, General Walker received the intelligence about the Empire's planet killers with unusual calmness. "They're finally bringing out their best weapons," he said to his staff. "Activate the planetary shield network." Across Earth, hidden generators powered up. They had been built centuries ago, disguised as ordinary mountains, oceans, and city buildings. Each one contributed to a defense system that humanity had hoped they would never need to use. The Empire's fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Their planet killers, each one larger than a small moon, moved into firing position. "Begin the attack," Grand Admiral Blue ordered. "Show them true power." The planet killers fired. Beams of energy that could shatter worlds struck Earth's atmosphere. For a moment, the planet glowed like a second sun. But when the light faded, Earth remained unchanged. "Impossible," Blue shouted. "Fire again." On the planet's surface, General Walker watched through quantum sensors as the Empire's weapons harmlessly dissipated against Earth's shields. "They still think energy can only flow in one direction," he commented to Commander Wilson. "Show them how wrong they are." Earth's shield didn't just block the planet killer beams. It absorbed them, channeled them, and redirected them. The energy meant to destroy Earth instead powered up humanity's own weapons. In orbit, Admiral Red watched in horror as Earth's orbital defense platforms began to glow with the same energy their planet killers had fired. "My lord," Captain Stone reported, "they're using our own weapon energy against us." But humanity wasn't done surprising the Empire. As the planet killers prepared for another attack, a small human fleet appeared behind them. Led by General Miller, these ships were humanity's own super weapons, vessels designed to fight enemies that could destroy planets. "Begin Phase 3, Miller ordered his fleet. The human ships didn't try to destroy the planet killers. Instead, they fired weapons that cut the massive vessels off from reality itself. One by one, the Empire's ultimate weapons found themselves drifting in pocket dimensions, unable to affect the normal universe. In the Empire's command ship, Blue received increasingly desperate reports. Half their planet killers were trapped in other dimensions. Earth's shields were impenetrable. And now human ships were appearing inside their formation again, targeting their command and control systems with surgical precision. "They're not just defending," Director White realized, watching the battle from the Empire's capital. "They're teaching us a lesson, showing us that every weapon, no matter how powerful, has a counter." General Miller's ships continued their methodical destruction of the Empire's fleet. They didn't target engines or weapons. They targeted pride. Each shot showed the Empire another way their technology could be defeated, another way their strategies could fail. In Earth's command center, Walker received the battle reports with satisfaction. "Send the message," he ordered. Throughout the Empire's fleet, every screen, every communicator, every neural link displayed the same words. These are not our strongest weapons. These are not our best ships. These are not our finest warriors. This is your final warning. The Empire's greatest fleet hung in space, broken not by superior firepower, but by superior thinking. Their ultimate weapons had been turned against them. Their strongest shields had been bypassed. Their proudest ships now drifted in dimensions they couldn't even perceive. As the remains of his fleet retreated, Grand Admiral Blue sent one final message to the Empire's capital. We didn't lose a battle today. We lost our belief in our own supremacy. The Empire had launched its greatest attack, used its strongest weapons, and committed its full military might, and humanity had turned it all aside with almost casual ease. The Empire's High Council gathered in their grand chamber for the first time in a century. All 500 members sat in stunned silence as they watched recordings of their greatest fleet's defeat. 3 of our planet killers are still trapped in other dimensions. Director White reported. We don't even know if their crews are still alive. Before the council could respond, every screen in the chamber lit up with a transmission. General Walker appeared, sitting calmly at his desk on Earth. Your Empire has lost 4 fleets, 3 planet killers, and over 20,000 ships, Walker stated simply. Now, we will show you why other species are beginning to side with us. Across the Empire's territory, human ships appeared simultaneously at hundreds of worlds. Not to attack, but to broadcast the truth. Recordings of Empire ships firing on civilian targets, evidence of planetary resources being stripped without consent, proof of species being enslaved. On the occupied world of Haven, the local population watched in awe as human ships easily disabled their Empire overseers' weapons. Commander Wilson's voice echoed through their cities. You are now free to choose your own path. The Empire's control began to crack. On world after world, subject species rose up, protected by human dimensional shields that made Empire retaliation impossible. Stop this. The Empire's supreme leader demanded in another transmission to Earth. You're destroying 10,000 years of order. General Walker's response was calm but firm. Your order was built on fear. We're giving people a choice. Here are ours. The terms appeared on screens across the galaxy. 1. The Empire would reform into a cooperative alliance. 2. All species would have equal representation. 3. Technology would be shared, not hoarded. 4. War would be regulated by strict rules of engagement. 5. Any species could choose independence. And if we refuse, the Supreme Leader asked. In response, human ships across the galaxy demonstrated their power. They didn't fire weapons. They simply shifted entire Imperial military bases into parallel dimensions for 30 seconds. When the bases reappeared, their commanders had aged 10 years. Time manipulation, Director White gasped. They can control time itself. In the council chamber, the panic was total. Some members demanded immediate surrender. Others called for one final suicidal attack. The Empire was fracturing. Back on Earth, Lieutenant Reed monitored the Empire's quantum communications. Sir, she reported to Walker. 23 member species have already requested our protection. The Empire's core worlds are divided. Walker nodded. Send in Phase 2. Across Imperial space, more human ships appeared. But these didn't carry weapons. They carried teachers, doctors, engineers, and scientists. They offered knowledge, not destruction. Hope, not fear. On the Empire's capital world, citizens watched in amazement as human medical technology cured diseases their doctors had struggled with for generations. Human engineers showed them how to build their own dimensional shields. Human scientists taught them about technologies the Empire had kept secret. This is how you destroy an empire, Commander Wilson observed. Not by breaking its military, but by showing its people a better way. The Empire's military command was in chaos. Admiral Red, watching from his damaged flagship, summarized it best. We could not defeat their weapons. Now we cannot defeat their ideas. Director White prepared his final report to the High Council. The humans could have destroyed us at any time. Instead, they chose to teach us. They didn't want to defeat the Empire. They wanted to change it. As the Council debated surrender terms, human ships maintained their presence throughout Imperial space, preventing any last-minute aggression, while protecting those who chose freedom. General Walker sent one final message to the Empire's leadership. You thought warfare was about weapons and territory. We learned long ago that it's about hearts and minds. You fought to conquer. We fought to liberate. That's why you lost before the first shot was fired. The Empire's 10,000 years of absolute rule were ending, not with a grand battle, but with a lesson in humanity's true power, the ability to imagine and create a better future, and the strength to make that future real. 1 year after the Empire's surrender, the Great Council chamber looked very different. Where once only Empire officials sat, now representatives from every species gathered to shape the galaxy's future. Director White, now serving as a historical advisor, watched the proceedings with amazement. A year ago, we thought we were the most advanced civilization in the galaxy, he said to Admiral Red. Now we know we were children playing with toys. In the center of the chamber, General Walker stood with leaders from 50 different worlds. They were signing the Galactic Charter, a new set of laws that would govern space travel, warfare, and cooperation between species. The first rule, Walker announced, is that no species may use planet-killing weapons. The second is that AI must be treated as partners, not slaves. The third is that dimensional warfare must follow strict guidelines. Commander Wilson, watching from Earth through quantum channels, smiled as former Empire worlds began to prosper under the new rules. Their ships now carried trade goods instead of weapons. Their scientists shared discoveries instead of hiding them. But not everyone accepted the new order. Deep in the outer regions of what was once Empire space, a group of military hardliners prepared for one final battle. The Empire ruled for 10,000 years. Their leader, former Admiral Green, declared, "We will not bow to these humans." They gathered their remaining forces, 3,000 ships, including one salvaged planet killer. They planned to attack Earth directly, believing that humanity had lowered its defenses during peacetime. They were wrong. As their fleet approached the solar system, they encountered something new. Not weapons or shields, but a simple holographic message that appeared on every ship. The following species have signed mutual defense pacts with Earth. List of 200 species follows. Turn back now. Green ignored the warning. His fleet pressed forward. Earth's response was not what anyone expected. There were no weapons fired, no dimensional shifts, no swarms of AI ships. Instead, humanity simply turned off their faster-than-light drives. Every ship in Green's fleet suddenly dropped out of FTL travel. They found themselves stranded, years away from the nearest star at sublight speeds. This is humanity's final warning to those who still dream of empire. General Walker's voice echoed through their ships. We can do this to any vessel, anywhere in the galaxy. The age of warfare through force is over. In the new council chamber, Director White explained to the gathered species why the Empire had really lost. We fought humans as if they were just another empire, but they weren't fighting for territory or resources. They fought to create something new, a galaxy where war itself would become obsolete. The remnants of Green's fleet were rescued by human ships and escorted to neutral worlds, where they were given a choice: join the new galactic community or live in peace on isolated planets. Most chose to join. 1 year became 5, then 10. The galaxy changed. Species that had feared each other for millennia now worked together. Technology advanced rapidly as humans shared their knowledge of dimensional physics, AI development, and consciousness transfer. In the Empire's former capital city, a new museum opened. Its main exhibit showed the history of the human war, ending with a simple message that soon became famous across the galaxy. If you meet humans in battle, you have already lost. Not because they are stronger or more advanced, but because they will show you a better way to live. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Admiral Red, now an educator teaching young species about galactic history, often ended his lectures with a story. We thought we were going to fight a primitive species. Instead, we fought beings who had mastered space, time, and dimension itself. But their greatest weapon wasn't their technology. It was their ability to imagine a better future and make it real. The humans didn't just win a war, he would tell his students. They ended the very concept of galactic warfare, not with superior weapons, but with superior dreams. And so the galaxy entered a new age. The Empire became a legend, a cautionary tale about the price of pride. And humanity's warning echoed through space. Fight us, and we will not destroy you. We will teach you. And that is a far more powerful weapon than any fleet.